How do you pick a loudspeaker in which to buy? This question comes from Colin in Houston, Texas. And Colin writes, I just watched your How to Spend Money post and again heard you recommend speakers as the priority item. And yes, I believe speakers first, get that right, and then go from there. And yeah, I don't make speakers yet, but we will. Anyway, that's not why I'm giving that advice. I'm using Bell Canto monoblocks and preamp with a pair of Vienna acoustic Mozart speakers. And I would like to upgrade the speakers, but honestly don't know where to start. And here in Houston, I'm finding the selection and the listening possibilities somewhat limited. I have a dedicated 25 by 16 listening room. Are you able to suggest a starting point? This harkens back to the problems we spoke of before with the disappearing dealer problem. Dealers are becoming fewer and fewer, and they are converting to home theater dealers, or the two-channel guys are just narrowing down their two-channel selection so much that it's, like Colin says, very tough to find a place to go audition. And that is a big problem. There's no question about it. I feel for you. So let's go through, and I think the whole paradigm is changing. And this is something we're going to face when we start in, I think we're scheduled now for the first quarter of 2019 to launch the Arnie Nudell Memorial line of loudspeakers. We're going to be faced with that too, because there aren't going to be that many dealers. So how do we get those speakers to you? How do you wind up listening to them? And right away, I mean, our first inclination is take them home. We'll make it easy for you somehow to take them home. We'll show you how to set them up, and you can try them and play with them. And that's the easy, simple answer. Actually doing it and taking heavy speakers and shipping them, I mean, yeah, we got our work cut out for us. And I don't have those great answers, but right now I'm not focused on that. I just need to build the speakers. Okay. The first question, when somebody asks me, hey, I need a pair of speakers, what do I get? First question I want to know is, what are you hoping to achieve? Where are you going with this? What do you want out of those speakers? Second question, how much are you willing to spend? Third question, what's your room and what are your electronics? All right, so we already know that Colin has a really nice room, okay? So Colin probably doesn't want a pair of bookshelf speakers, so we can kind of throw those off the table. Let me just assume that Colin would like to have what I have in Music Room 1. That may not be true. He may not want big, full-range loudspeakers and system to really just turn the lights down low and have that music come alive, that ultimate thing that we're all kind of looking for, and PS Audio is dedicated to trying to bring into your house. I mean, he may not, but I'm going to assume he does. All right? So we'll have to pick a budget for Colin. We'll have to say, Colin wants to spend, how much do you want to spend, Colin? You've got Bell Cantos, those are a couple of, all right, I'm going to throw out 10 grand. Now, it doesn't have to be 10 grand, but I'm going to throw out 10 grand. So if you want big, badass system that is going to be resolving and do all the right stuff, then you're going to want a pair of excellent floor standing loudspeakers that have either built-in subwoofers, and there are only very few of those, or a separate subwoofer. So for the moment, let's assume you're going to go for a separate subwoofer. You're going to want a pair of subwoofers if you can, or at least build up to that at some point. My favorite's Rel, but there are plenty of great subwoofers out there. So we're going to assume that you're going to go for a sub, and then we're going to assume that you're going to go for floor standing loudspeakers. Then the questions come down, what do you want out of this? What's really important? If speed, transparency are tantamount, I mean, they're the thing that you really want, then I would pick a ribbon speaker, something like a Magnaplaner. A good set of Maggies, heck, you can get those for, I don't know, $4,000 or $5,000. Add a pair of subs, you are in hog heaven. What do you give up? Dynamics. Electrostats and ribbons like magneplaners don't have much in the way of dynamics. So it's, let's get something on the table. Everything we're going to do with loudspeakers is going to be a compromise. It's something that when we develop our line of speakers, we're hoping to get away from. How are we going to do that? Well, we're going to go nuts. We're putting ribbons in that are very, very efficient. We're putting in servo-controlled woofers. I mean, we're going to great extents to give you dynamic range and transparency. But that's not common. That's not something we find a lot of. Almost, you could say you almost don't find it anywhere out there. So that's one of the reasons we're going to do it. But I'm not trying to pitch our speakers here. So those are just some of the things you want to look at. What are you focused on? If it's transparency and all that, you're going to want to go for something that has very fast transients. If you're looking for all-in-one speakers, like a pair of Revels or a set of B&Ws, what are the downsides there? Revels are not all that high in resolution. You're going to lose that. B&Ws, they're very high in resolution, but they're also very sterile and have a really torturous top end. So then you have to be very careful with your electronics. So it's listen, I'm with you, Colin. This is a hard thing to do. If you want, you can email us. We'll be happy to walk you through any experience that we have and be happy to share it with you. All right, thanks. Good luck. Bye.